Leonard Miller caught on as a first-round prospect late in the 2022 draft cycle, but after the combine, he decided to spend a year with the G League Ignite, and that ended up being a great decision as he contributed significantly and regained most, if not all, of his initial buzz. A unique mover at 6'10 with a 7'2 wingspan, Miller is one of the more intriguing prospects in the class as someone who has been more of a creator in the past, but adjusted into a role as a play finisher and put up big numbers in his first year as a pro. He also showed upside defensively, and though he still has plenty to work on with shooting being at the top of that list, he's given more to bank on as a contributor and has garnered interest as high as the lottery in the process. The most impressive thing I think Miller did this year was making the adjustment or transition in his game to being more of a play finisher and scoring on the interior, and he did it at a high level. He shot over 65% at the rim using either hand and showing off his touch, and did everything from playing in the dunker spot to cutting, getting on the offensive glass, and also had a few duck-ins and rolls to the rim where he found success, though on a more limited volume. While it might not jump out at you in a highlight setting, it's something to build off as he found a potential niche and put up 17 double-doubles over the course of the year.
Off the mark. Here's Babakar-Sané, leaves it off for Miller, throwing it down.
Anderson attacks Seaburn again. Inside, Miller throws it down.
But you see Moon come out of nowhere and just apply the pressure, and that's a good play right there.
Miller. They want to get the ISO on Miller. He's against Pippen, has the mismatch, and he makes him.
Communicating, trying to stay on the same page. Great pass. Great pass.
As of late, especially with shorter benches and guys being up with the big club, Mari Hardy's.
Miller that gets batted around, collected by King, not really, and oh, he's fouled.
Jenkins for three. A little bit short, the tip is in.
Jenkins, this one not a three, still won't go down. Miller another rebound. Jenkins will try again. That one.
King, stutter step, finds Miller on the pick and roll.
Oh my
finishing.
Here's Dawkins. Aubrey finds Miller for the jam.
In the world, get to see a little bit more of me and me not be so closed off.
Oh, come in 4 for 24 so far with the hustle this year.
Miller off the pick and roll.
Nice feed, and Miller gets the dunk.
He also loved to get out and score in transition, and that was his most effective play type according to Synergy, and you could see it when you watched. He leaked out and ran the floor hard, going up the middle of the floor and getting wide out on the wing, and when you match that energy with his athleticism and an ability to convert at a high level around the rim, you get a consistent number of easy buckets every game. But this was also where he most often showed his ability to handle the ball and grab and go off the defensive glass. The guard skills and higher usage in the half court that we saw previously isn't there yet to do it on this level, and maybe it just won't be, but getting it off the glass, taking it coast to coast, and getting into his euros, spins, and other unorthodox finishes around the rim is something that he's capable of already. And when his own shot wasn't available, he did create a few looks for others in the process too.
Miller in transition, laying.
20 years, and this is their first time getting there.
They said, where do all these spans come from?
Miller ahead of the pack, and he throws it down.
I'm surprised it took you that long to bring that up, Jared.
And Miller.
Henderson comes up with it. Chance for the tie. Reversed by.
Trying to keep it alive, gets the steal for Ignite. Miller running the floor, throws it down.
From NBA G League Ignite to Soto.
And the Ignite retained possession, and here's Scoot Henderson in the lane, and look who it is again.
Take everything but the bucket. Quickly up ahead to Miller. He'll flush it down.
What a defensive possession by Ignite. Here comes Henderson the other way. Finding. With the help D.
And there you go. Good help. Recognize a mismatch.
Miller running the break, throws it off.
Great defense yet again. This time it sets numbers up for the left.
Miller pulls it down.
Really good defense to defend without fouling in the paint.
Jenkins catches.
He also still has some intrigue in his skill set as a creator in the half court. Now, a lot of this is still a real work in progress and might never be a big part of his game, but the flashes that he showed on face-ups, attacking the occasional closeout, the timely pull-ups in the mid-range, and his solid handle were all impressive at points. Now again, it's not something that you're asking him to do from the jump or is necessary for him to be successful, but if you're picking him, you have the idea that at least pieces of this could become more realized parts of what he does. And it's part of his appeal, given most guys who could be labeled as play finishers or interior scorers aren't capable of any of this in a pro setting.
Miller fighting for it, and he keeps it alive. Oh, what a crossover. Miller from the elbow.
Miller, shot clock turned off. Clock at 4. Shot is up. Got it.
Look at Iowa just picking up full.
Leonard Miller. Leonard Miller, he wants the ball. Trying to go one-on-one, turning, fadeaway, jump.
And then defensively, Miller has a chance to be an extremely versatile and important piece in the NBA. He's far from a finished product, and we'll speak on some of those areas, but in his first real professional action, he improved quite a bit over the year and showed a lot to like. Now, he's 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan and is a fluid athlete, which is stuff you just can't teach and gives him a lot to work with. Out on the perimeter, he showed he could contain and contest. He's not the absolute quickest against the smalls and best creators, but he's good enough to keep them in front and get the job done. He'll likely match up with 4s and 3s and potentially spend time defending 5s depending on where he goes physically. And though he's not super active in passing lanes or a prolific shot blocker, he did make plays and help and provide some help side resistance there with his size and had some head-turning moments defending both sides of the ball screen. The effort was there pretty consistently through the mistakes, and I think he can make his biggest impact and see the floor most easily with his upside on this end.
Squadron offensively, just 21 points, a game high. Up top, Kelly had a
Shot selection is needs some work. The tools are there.
Harrison getting downhill with the Euro. Figueroa, that is blocked. Tons of contact. Ignite, they're just not getting the balls tonight.
Right now, every screen is big little, so they're getting mismatches and they're taking advantage of it.
For the development, but for me as a coach, you always want to shoot out there, but it has been a good thing because other guys got to play another role.
Inside pass to Makoko.
Sissoko did not engage the ball.
Miller with the block.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about Bashanis Feely. Quality minutes tonight. And Bashanis
Right out the game.
No.
He let him play through it, which is important.
Line to shoot. McDermott puts it on the floor to the rim. Oh, nice block there.
Right out the game.
No.
He let him play through it, which is important.
not settling for the fadeaways or the bad shots. He's taking it to the basket.
Right now, one of the most obvious improvement areas for Leonard Miller is his shooting, specifically from 3. He was at around 30% there on lower attempts. Mechanically, he still has a lower release point, and the footwork and shot prep is inconsistent, leading to a lot of rough misses and even some hesitancy in letting it fly. And for him, being a bigger threat from deep would open up his game, giving him another spot for consistent offense, allowing him to play in different lineups easier and attracting more attention from the defense to attack closeouts. Now, given where he was a year ago and the adjustment to the NBA line, the free throw percentage, you'll take it, but he'll still need to make real progress here. I think the ultimate goal for him is getting to league average or at least right below it on solid volume based on what he's shown to this point. But if he lands in a situation with a great player development track record, it could be game changing for him.
I think his first one was
the two of them for sure. Justin Jackson. Uncharacteristic night shooting.
Got that shot up. Nice job to adjust. Hall just a split second late to close on Miller in time from three-quarter court.
Decision making, pace, and control in the half court still left more to be desired, and is a big reason of why he didn't have more half court handling responsibilities. He drove without a real plan at times, and when that euro or step through wasn't there, he got into some trouble or just straight up traveled. And he turned the ball over too often, some coming on errant passes and others in his handle in moments of hesitancy, making the thoughts of him being a future point forward or secondary initiator a little more distant at this moment. Now, there were still plenty of flashes of him running pick and rolls, executing dribble handoffs and side-to-side stuff, and of course in transition, but he'll have to get a lot sharper, more composed, and confident to be more than a tertiary in transition guy, and even just to maximize there.
Jetter, that's a three. No,
we asked about Mark Williams. He said he is such a high IQ guy as a bucket.
Play here in this first half. Bobby King will spot him.
Number 3 onto the left side, Miller. Miller tries to drive on Williams, gets to the baseline, throws it outside. Jetter, catch and shoot 3 at the horn, and he hits.
See if McKnight can get it going here. 6-0 Iowa on top. A cutting Sissoko. NBA, he's got 18 already. Sissoko from the corner.
And then defensively, he'll still need to patch up certain things to maximize more of his talent, and there's a few main areas that he can improve. One is just in his communication and executing scheme at NBA speeds. I thought he got better here over the course of the year, naturally as a teenager in this, and there were two sides to these plays, but there were too many times he was unsure of when to switch, when to commit, or was a step late on a rotation, and it was the difference in some easy buckets. He's a solid lateral mover at that size, but the closeouts could get really sloppy at times. He'd be a bit jumpy out on the perimeter and ended up giving up an advantage in a jarring way, which of course negates some of the versatility if you're giving up some of these easy advantages. We're looking at what I would describe as a good defensive prospect, someone that could serve well in multiple roles with his length and tools, but he still has some growing to do to reach his potential, and it'll be important as this is one of the easiest ways for him to impact the game.
Shoot it or pass it or drive it.
Mork, elbow jumper to Fitz coming through up and driving baseline. Here's Diabate again, working up against Miller, spinning, gets all the way to the rim. And
Miller has in the post.
Jay Huff, quick spin move, another spin move, gets back. They'll give it to the 7-footer Johnson, trying to work against Miller. Lowers his left shoulder, hits his own board, throws it up.
They've given up a lot tonight, early in this game.
Miller looking to go to work. Lost Miller at 6'11". He played point guard in high school back in Canada. He can handle the rock. He can also. They've had Leonard Miller running the point. Here he is on the block. Those are the three guys on the floor available for the upcoming NBA draft.
It is kind of tough to come up with a realistic future outlook for Miller because given his combination of tools, I think he could exceed most people's expectations, but I think somewhere from starter to high-level starter or top 70 to 100 player feels like a solid possibility as a versatile wing/forward weapon. And his ability to reach some of those heights and exceed that will have a lot to do with his shooting and how much he can create offense. I think he could go anywhere from the late lottery to the late first round. OKC feels like a great landing spot for him in a lot of ways, though 12 might be a little high based on the opinions of the league right now. I think Miami could use what he does if they keep their pick, and then Indiana in the late first is another spot I could really see him thriving in. Comparison-wise, I think Jared Vanderbilt is the guy he could look to emulate to see the floor early and often, and of course add a couple different elements within that role. I don't know if he can be as tenacious and versatile defensively, has a little more juice offensively, but I think there's some real similarities there, even dating back to how Vando played in high school. The way Leonard Miller found a niche, produced at a high level, and created something more substantial in a team setting was excellent, and secured first round pick status to me. It's just where exactly in the first is the question. I think some of the consistency defensively, the shooting, and decision making would keep him more in the top 20-ish range for me, but he's got a ton of upside. There's a lot to like with his game at that size, and he could very well end up being a clear steal on draft night.